Hey, happy Monday, everybody. Coach Kathy McKnight here. Today's topic is powerlessness and how freeing it is to actually admit powerlessness. There's a trick to this whole get up of being powerless. We grow up feeling like we need to be self-sufficient. We need to have willpower. We need to be strong, get up no matter what, and win and be strong and be perfect and do all these things all on our own inner strength. And we realize after years and years of falling on our face that being powerful is not reality. It's really not reality, especially when we are using it to do the same thing over and over in an attempt to control something or fix something or change something for it to match what we want it to match, and then having to go through the same exact story and the same results and the same outcome over and over and over again, because we are just so determined to conquer being powerful and not be powerlessness. So powerless. So today I want to talk about this topic because for me, I'm sure through the years that there were, people that discuss this with me through the years, whether it's teachers or probably my parents, friends, who knows. But if you're not open to listen, to learn to listen at the time, then these things, we're not hearing it. And we have to go through whatever we have to go through before we get to where we understand it and it makes sense for us. So it's a journey. It's a process. Everybody's journey is different. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. This isn't a competition. But if I can help one person by sharing my experience, strength, and hope with powerlessness, then I feel like I'm giving back something that was given to me. Because when I learned this lesson, it was such a huge gift. And to this day, I totally embrace it and honor it and value remembering that I'm powerless over people, over places, and over things. And knowing that and accepting that and embracing that and being completely, really, totally at peace with that is empowering. So it's amazing how being willing to surrender and admit complete defeat of being powerless makes us actually stronger and more confident. And that's another thing. Like we go through life wanting to be confident. We want to achieve success and we want to be confident, to have self-worth and self-esteem. But I was so backwards in my efforts to get to that place because I was missing some key ingredients, some wisdom and knowledge that I needed in order to understand it, grasp it, and to change myself, because what it always boils down to changing, and really we can't change anybody else. We can't change people, places, or things. We're powerless over all of that, but we're not powerless over our own attitude, our own behaviors, our own choices, and our feelings. Well, we're powerless over our feelings, but we're not powerless over how we choose to handle our feelings. So it's amazing. Some of the things you can think of a scenario of powerlessness, like if you're at the grocery store and you know that every time you walk down the cookie aisle, you're going to buy cookies and Debbie cakes and all these yummy, delicious desserts that you absolutely love, even though before you left for the store, you swore you weren't going to do it. Your intention was to go and not buy all that sugar. But when you walked down that sugar aisle, it all went right out the window and you proceeded to buy all the cookies that you love. And then when you got home, you ate them. So that is an example of being powerless. And what you have to do is you have to admit to yourself that the cookie aisle, okay, it's people, places, and things, they're more powerful than you, in the sense that when it comes to addiction, And once we cross that line and become full blown in addiction, we cannot go back. So once our brain is triggered, it's going to want more. So admitting that that cookie is more powerful than you actually gives you the ability and the strength to do something different, to beat the cookie. And it's that way with the drink, it's that way with the drug, it's that way with gambling, whatever your vice may be, whatever the addiction is, admitting that that is more powerful than you gives you strength. And that's what you have to have. And so for years, I would try to manage everything on my own because I was determined to be strong and conquer everything and handle it and manage it, all with good intention, but really what I learned is that's just my pride and my ego and fear. Because when I'm determined to continue to beat something that continues to beat me every single time I go face to face with it, then that is a fear. That's just being completely in my own self-will, left to be self-sufficient to manage something that has clearly whipped my butt time and time and time again. I did that with drinking for years because I told myself that I was not powerless over that, well, the reason that I'm going through these negative consequences is because I'm going through a divorce, or, well, I'm making a big change. I'm buying a house, or I've changed jobs. We can tell ourselves anything we want to tell ourselves as a reason to justify and rationalize our choice to pick something up once again that has clearly kicked our butt. And that's the insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And it's okay. You got to let it go, because this is, like I said, your process, and it takes what it takes until it sinks in, or until we're on our knees saying, I give up, I surrender, which is a beautiful, amazing, powerful place to be. And sometimes we can go through way more than needed before we get to that place of surrender. And there's a saying, surrender to win, because that's when you truly start to win, when you let go and let God. And one of the hugest ways for you to empower yourself and become stronger in the areas of dealing with the very things that take you out, whether it's the cookies or the gambling or drugs, alcohol, it could be a relationship that you continue to go back to, even though you continue to get the same results. You might be involved with somebody who is lying or cheating, and you just keep choosing to believe that you're going to have a different result because you believe in it. Just like you believe that you're going to drink the alcohol and not end up with a DUI or worse. And this is something we trick ourselves. It's delusional because we want what we want when we want it, or we're allowing our feelings and our wants to overpower the reality of the situation. And when we admit that we're powerless, we stop giving power to that very vice that is kicking our butt. So once we can realize that I cannot do anything about what that beer will do to me, or what that cookie will do to me, or what that relationship is doing to me. Once I realize that and I accept it and I embrace that and I trust God to give me what I call God confidence, not self-confidence, but the God confidence gives you that superpower to love yourself enough to choose to walk a different path. Okay, pick up that water or that tea, or you're going to pick up an apple or an orange, or you're going to let go of that person, and you're not going to go back to the same old insanity time and time again, because you finally realize that you deserve so much more than what these people, places, and things are doing to you. When we are so determined to have it go the way we want it to go, we are wrapped up in fear or control, And that's because you think you're going to lose something that you have, or you're not going to get something that you want. And that really is deceitful, in the sense that when you love yourself, you know that it's all going to come naturally to you, as it should. You don't have to accept unacceptable things. You don't have to change things or try to make something come out and have a different result than it has already showed you it's going to have, time and time again. So once you let go and you realize that you're not giving power to that very thing that has got you all worked up, full of anxiety, full of sadness and worry and anger, and that chips away at you, that your self-esteem, and it really takes away from, it can harden your heart, and it's exhausting, and it can just do so much damage to you emotionally and physically, mentally. So spiritually, you can be totally just completely empty and wiped out, because you are not accepting something for exactly as it is. And that's the difference between powerless and acceptance. See, when you accept that you're powerless over something, you're not giving it power anymore. You're totally understanding that it's beyond your control and it isn't personal. And that's where I got wrapped up in it for so long, because I didn't understand that this was not about me. So when I was up against a situation, whether it was a relationship that I was trying to fix or save, or whether it's the fact that I wanted to drink because I believed that the reason I was having problems with it was situational, due to other people, not due to the reality that I have addiction, that I'm an addict. And so because of all that, I was so busy wrapped up in the unacceptance of my truth, that I was feeling like I'm not okay or good enough or worthy enough without all that. Until, the more I wanted something better for my life, the more work I did on me, which is another one of the solutions. Is first, you're depending on God, your higher power, a higher power than you, to give you that super strength, but also chasing growth, chasing personal development, doing for yourself, giving yourself self-care, learning, gaining knowledge. The more you go after all that for yourself, the more that you're going to be totally free of the very things that once completely ran your show, completely ran you inside out. Humiliation, time and time again, feeling like a fool because you were just biting the bait of chasing that insanity, trying to change it. And the only thing that you can change is yourself. That's it. That's it. And what a gift that is, because once you realize that you're fully 100% responsible for every choice you make, for every decision, for everything that's ever happened, regardless of the other side of the coin, when you look at your part in that picture and you see what you're doing, and you see that you have been giving your power to something that you're powerless over, you all of a sudden have this enormous weight lifted off your shoulders, and you're completely free of all of those people, places, and things that were once creating havoc, all due to your own self-inflicted misery, self-inflicted pain, due to your choices. So when you get in touch with acceptance and accountability, that's when you change. That's when you start making different choices. You start doing things like exercise, yoga, nutrition, drinking water, sleep, and you start taking good care of yourself. And the more you do that, the better you feel, the happier and healthier you're going to be. And you'll see that you were once in this ball of fire, wrapped up in complete misery. You were surrounded around misery, because misery loves company. You were around negative, toxic people, places, and things. But then you pushed your way with God power to keep striving for something better for you. And all of a sudden you're over here in positivity, love, self-care, God confidenceness. You're happy, you're joyful, you're free, and you're strong. Everything is now better. And then you just keep on doing the actions that continue to make you better and better and better. You're surrounding yourself around people that are like you, that are all about being happy and healthy. And that is the difference between being powerless and being in acceptance. And you have a choice. So it's fear or it's faith. So every day when you wake up, when you just give yourself that reminder, you can write it on a little sticky note, you can have it on your refrigerator until it becomes a natural thing ingrained in your brain. I'm powerless. I am powerless over people, places, and things. I'm powerless over the traffic today. I'm powerless over an angry boss that yells at everybody. I'm powerless over, some family member that might be going through a very hard time, and you just want to shake them and help them stop, and they can't. You're powerless over your children and the choices they're making. You cannot control anything or anyone other than you and the way you choose to manage your feelings and emotions, the way you choose to speak, the way you choose to act, and especially when no one's looking. Building character and integrity comes from how you choose to be. And the more you do the right thing and the more you embrace being powerless, the stronger and stronger and happier you become, which is completely wild because it's so opposite of how for years and years and years I grew up thinking. I was an athlete. I have to hit a home run today. That's powerful. So for me, to even grasp the idea that I'm powerless over something, it took years because I'm very stubborn and very strong-willed, and I refuse to think that I'm powerless over anything. I just didn't understand it. I really wasn't open to receiving the message and, really getting a real grasp on the deeper picture of what that actually means. So this video is to plant seeds. You never know who needs to hear it. And so if you know anyone who's struggling or going through anything in a relationship or with any type of addiction, please share this video or have them subscribe to my website, to my YouTube channel. And my website is kathymcknightinc.com. You can schedule a discovery session, check out my blogs and more about me, to understand what I can do to help you break free of anything, all limited beliefs, anything that's in your way and blocking you from being completely your best version of yourself right now, where you can actually function and succeed at your best, your absolute best, because you deserve that. You deserve it. And, really letting go, letting God, accepting powerlessness is absolutely the first step. So if you can get that down, you're on your way. And if I can help you get there, please reach out. I'm more than happy to help you. And thank you for listening to my video today on powerlessness. I hope that helps. Have an awesome evening, and we'll see you next week. Ciao.